Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Lately I've been very interested in finding out more about what are the cheapest and most expensive states to retire in the United States. I did some research, I went online and I found a very interesting article from Kiplinger, which is a very reputable source, and in this video I want to share with you the information that is in this article. And I'm going to show you what, according to Kiplinger, are the 15 cheapest and most expensive states, tell you the total assets that you will need to live in each of those states, and the total income that you will need to generate. The cheapest state is West Virginia. You will need, according to Kiplinger, $712,000 of assets and $50,955 of income. And number 2 is Kansas. You will need $741,000 of assets and $52,095 of income. And obviously if you have Social Security or a pension, some of that income can come from that, but this is the total income that you will need. And number 3 is Mississippi. You will need $753,000 of assets and $52,376 of income. Then at number 4 is Oklahoma. You will need $759,000 of assets and $52,816 of income. And number 5 is Alabama. You will need $773,000 of assets and $53,357 of income. And number 6, cheapest, is Missouri. You will need $776,005 of assets, tied with Arkansas at number 7. Both of them you will need the same amount of assets, $776,005 and $53,477 of income. And number 8, cheapest, is Tennessee. You will need $791,000 of assets and $54,078 of income. And number 9 is Iowa. You will need $797,000 of assets and $54,319 of income. Then number 10 is Indiana. You will need $810,555 of assets and $54,859 of income. Then numbers 11 through 15 in that order are Georgia at number 11, North Dakota at number 12, Michigan at number 13, South Dakota at number 14, and Texas at number 15. In those states you will need between $813,000 and $830,000 of assets and between $54,980 and $55,640 of income. So the top 15, you go from a low $712,000 of assets to a high of $830,000 of assets. Now let's go to the most expensive states in the United States. And to move in your retirement and live in retirement in those states, you will need a lot more money than this. And number 1, the most expensive, and having been in that state, I can understand why that is. The most expensive is Hawaii. And you will need $2.2 million of assets, and you will need $110,000 of income annually. And this doesn't surprise me because Hawaii is very expensive. And in fact, the number 2 most expensive is a state in which you need a lot less money than Hawaii. And number 2 is Massachusetts. You will need $1.645 million. And you will need $88,627 of income. So between number 1 and number 2, there's $600,000 of difference. Then at number 3, again, not a surprise because I live in this state and I can see how expensive it is California. California, you will need $1,612,000 of assets and you will need $86,945 of income. And number 4 is Alaska, which is kind of surprising to me. I don't know why it's the 4th most expensive, because I thought the housing was cheaper up there, but I guess maybe I'm wrong. And the assets you will need is 1.292 million, tied with New York. So Alaska and New York State are tied at 1.292 million and number 4 and 5, and you will need there $74,000 of income. Number 6 is New Jersey. You will need $1.163 million of assets and $68,980 of income. Number 7 is Vermont. You will need $1.153 million in assets and $68,559 of income. In Washington, you will need $1.145 million, $68,000 of income. Number 9 is Maine, where you will need $1.14 million, $68,000 of which in income. And number 10 is Arizona, which is a little surprising that it's a number 10, because I thought it was cheaper, but I guess real estate has gotten expensive in Arizona. And so in Arizona, you will need $1.13 million of assets and $67,000 of income. So all the states that you need the most money, they tend to be liberal states, more liberal states like Massachusetts, Hawaii, California, the Northeast, Vermont, Maine, all these states. States where the real estate is more expensive, they tend to be more expensive. While the states that they tend to be cheaper, they seem to have in common that they're either in the South or the Midwest, usually socially a little bit more conservative state. Maybe there's a little bit less regulation and definitely cheaper real estate. So I don't think that there are very big surprises here. I think the biggest surprise, at least to me, was Alaska being at the top of the most expensive. I wasn't expecting that, but I guess it is what it is. You know, maybe real estate is more expensive than I thought it would be. And so when you're planning a retirement, this is very useful. And I bet you that a lot of the costs come from real estate, from your housing. So obviously, if you have a paid off house in any of these states, if someone is living in a paid off house in California, you're going to be able to live in California with a lot less assets than having $1.6 million that Kiplinger says you will need. Obviously, every situation is going to be individually, and obviously if you have a spouse that is also retired, if you're 2 people, you're going to probably be able to live on less. But an article like this is very useful, I think. It gives you an idea, a general idea of the cost of all the states. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe, please hit the like button, and please check out the video here that the algorithm says you will enjoy. And thank you so much for following me.